Hello, welcome to the DesignCast, where we talk about all things design. I'm Stephen Underwood, a student graphic designer and photographer from the UK. Every Friday we will bring you the latest news in the design world, answer your questions, and even interview designers and the like right here. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts or watch us on our YouTube channel, the DesignCast Podcast. So today's topic is going to be on how to become a better designer. So it will be how to progress and how to develop your skills to become a better designer. So you may have heard the terms amateur, expert, professional, but that is where things get skewed in any field and line of work. Graphic design is one of those things, just like any job, where you are continuously learning. From other designers, other photographers, other clients, you are continuously learning. But the thing I really want to stress today is that there is multiple ways to get into graphic design, to learn it, to practice it, to refine your work. So I'm going to take you through my journey so far as a student designer and tell you how I think it's personally best to progress, or how you might choose to progress. So a couple of years ago, when I started my graphic design studies at GCSE level, because I'm from the UK, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my studies, and I saw this lovely stand with all these beautiful graphical pieces, and I thought I would love to do that. That is just brilliant, and that's what I want to do. So I had a look at the examples, had a bit of a chat to the teachers, and I knew straight away I was sold. That's what I wanted to do. And from that day onwards, that's where things changed a lot. However, there was one stumbling block in the way for me, was I'm never going to be as good as that. I can't reach that level. But that's where the problem lies. Naturally, as human beings, whatever subject or job you're interested in, we try to change ourselves or doubt ourselves over these sort of things. But the problem is we shouldn't, because that's not going to get you anywhere. The way I think the best to do this with any line of job and work again is develop those skills. So after seeing that stand and that amazing pieces of work, I decided that before I took the course that I was going to develop my skills, actually create my skills effectively, as I'd never dived into this world properly before. A few years back I had a little work in Photoshop, but definitely not at an advanced level. So I honestly cannot tell you enough how grateful I am for the world of YouTube. In the 21st century, it's an amazing, amazing tool that I think anyone should use when you have the ability to use it, because it's absolutely amazing. So I used YouTube for the 2 years of my GCSE course to learn and self-teach myself Photoshop at an advanced level. I was watching multiple videos from multiple YouTube channels, all brilliant videos, but I didn't watch specific videos on how to do this or how to use Photoshop or an hour-long course on Photoshop. I literally watched small, 5-minute videos from this channel, maybe a 2-minute video from this channel, and I slowly built up that knowledge by watching multiple videos on multiple skills. And I think the reason I went to YouTube first is because, as I knew that's what I wanted to do, I'm quite a visual learner. I learn visually by looking at things, listening to things, or seeing things. Very visual. And I think that's sometimes better than learning from notes or things like that. But obviously some people are different. But I think a lot of creative people learn very well through physical means, by listening, watching, or practicing. So I think the best way to approach a graphic design photography course or anything like that, especially when you're learning and growing and becoming a better designer, photographer, artist, whatever you are, is to just follow your gut and visually or physically try to learn something. So if someone puts a piece of paper and a pencil in front of you, start drawing, things like that. Or when I was learning Photoshop, I had Photoshop open, I was following along with these tutorials with random images, random photos, And I did a similar sort of thing with Illustrator as well, and that's how I've learnt up my wealth of knowledge to learn the softwares and how I've got to know them so well, which helps me develop my craft. So if I wanted to be a woodworker, so I work with wood, I would have to constantly practice working with wood. It's exactly the same with graphic design. You know, if I want to write a book or a novel or a series of novels and books, I'd have to learn literacy skills or English skills and get good at writing. It's exactly the same with graphic design, or any job at that. But I think the key with graphic design and photography and other similar creative subjects is to make sure you really hone your skill, trust your gut, and simply just practice. Because that's where I've got to, where I am now. So when I started my A-levels, which I've almost come to the end of now, again, I've done graphic design, and I've also done photography because I didn't have the option of doing that at GCSE. And in both subjects, I've been doing really well because I have honed my skills. Not just digitally on the computer in all the software, because that isn't the key to design or photography. Photography may be a little bit more because you're generally taking images on a photographic DSLR or a camera, but in graphic design and photography, they are mainly digital based, but not always. That's something for another day anyway. But I think the key thing is to just keep practicing physically, digitally, just getting that experience, getting that wealth of knowledge. So then by the time you want to become, should we say, professional, you're ready. You're just gonna fly through it because you've got the skills there. Now, I'm not trying to say that graphic design or photography is easy once you've got the skill, because by no means it's not. And I think that's one thing, again, that people perceive graphic design and photographers to be, is, oh, it's an easy job, you could learn it in a day. But you can't. There is so much more to think about than just putting a few images on top of each other, or creating a nice colourful illustration, or a piece of clip art that you could just get off Google. It's not quite the same as that. You get that feeling inside, that real buzz, which is what I got when I started seeing those examples. And over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, when I've really developed, honed my skill, and actually learned graphic design from scratch, pretty much self-taught myself for softwares, that's what's really given me that buzz, really enjoying what I've been doing. And I think it's just absolutely phenomenal that you can do that just so easily and just enjoy what you're doing. And I think that's also key to learning, is if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're going to keep doing it. If you're not, then you need to find something else. It's the same with hobbies and things like this. But I personally take graphic design as more of a hobby, I don't take graphic design as much of a hobby as I would other things, because I have such passion and drive for it. I just want to keep going. It's like, I don't know, if you had a treasure chest and you were looking for treasure, you're just going to keep digging until you get that treasure or that money. It's the same thing, it's just a drive that I have for design that I think really helps people. And I think a lot of creative people feel that way with videographers, graphic designers, photographers, whatever creative industry you're in. I think we all feel that same sort of buzz and feeling when you complete a piece of work or learn a new skill. And over time, when you build it up, you're again building up that experience that can really, at the end of the day, really help you. So I haven't got any questions for the question section of today's podcast at the moment, but do remember, if you want to send your questions in, you can send them in at the DesignCastPodcast@gmail.com. So I haven't had any yet, so I'm not going to do that today. So yeah, I just think if you have that buzz, you can really sort of hone your skills and learn from others as well as yourself. Like, if you're struggling with any job or anything to learn a new skill, it might be something telling you don't like it or you need to move on. Or maybe look at it from another angle, which I think, again, creative people are really good at doing, is looking at something from a different view or angle. So, for example, I can't actually show you any of my work if you are watching on our YouTube channel, But in my current final A-level graphics project, which I will be able to share with you much later in the year once it's been marked, I've been doing animation, character animation, which is very in-depth because I am still learning animation. And I've been really pleased with the results so far. But the important thing to stress is that I've been trying really hard on that. But I've sometimes come to a sort of blocked road where I feel like I can't move any further, or it's not quite right. So I might step back a bit, then find that other way to go in to really hone it and make it my own. I think that's also where your graphic design style comes from. It sort of gets developed from just continuously practicing and learning. And I think that's really what helps you over time build your style, just by keep practicing and practicing. You're just not going to stop sometimes, because especially creative people, like I was saying, they just have that buzz to keep going. If you just don't want to give it up, it's a passion, it's a hobby, it's a job, it's then something you can keep practicing on. But if you ever get stuck, if you ever get that bit of creative block, as it might be called, you just sort of want to step back a bit, look at it from a different view, and then keep making it better. So yeah, I think that is going to be it for today's podcast. So I want to thank you for tuning in, and don't forget you can visit our website at thedesignCast.com. That's www.thedesignCast.com. I want to say, I think it's the DesignCast podcast, correction. The DesignCastPodcast.com, sorry about that. And also send your questions in, as I've said already, for the DesignCastPodcast@gmail.com. That's the DesignCastPodcast@gmail.com. And once again, thanks for listening or watching, and I'll see you in the next one.